So weird. Your show, you can start it.
You always start.
And clap.
Welcome to Parenting Without a License.
Episode what?
Episode 7.
Episode 7, not brought to you by 100 Plus, sponsor. As always that. Anyway, I really like 100 Plus Zero because number one, it tastes as good, and it's 0 calories, and you know, Daddy needs to cut back on sugar. It's one of the better drinks I find because, you know, supposedly it has electrolytes. That has what plants crave.
If you get the reference, you're old.
Yeah, but either way, it's a nice it's a nice 0 calorie drink that I do enjoy. On the occasion, we don't really stock the house with it, but you know, sometimes I fast and you know, I don't want to have calories the entire day. And having a one more time, 100 Plus 0 sugar, it tastes great.
For some reason, it's actually not easy to get outside. The place that we like to go doesn't actually carry it very often. It's kind of sad. Anyway, before we start, I would like to do a shout out to eathalu.
Yeah, eathalu links somewhere.
We'll put it in. So this is their original spelt sourdough.
No, say it slowly and louder.
Original spelt sourdough loaf. Yeah. So and yeah, she does plain sourdough. She's got filling sourdough. She's got cookies, and all her stuff are all organic and vegan. Yeah.
It's got a nice texture, nice bite, nice chew. You can really taste the sourdough. There's a lot of complex flavors going on in there. It's really good. So that's eathalu, run by Miss Nurul Huda. If you're watching,
Hi.
awesome with some butter. I will put a bit more salt in this, but you know, I like salt.
Well, our butter wasn't salted. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, go find her on Instagram. Eathalu, which apparently means eat sweets.
Yeah, I think so. So we'll link it down there in our description below. And
Not sponsored, by the way. I paid for this and worth every cent I paid. So good, so good.
yeah, worth it. So anyway, today,
Grilled cheese.
yes, we've been doing grilled cheese sandwiches, and that's our current obsession. Anyway, so the topic for this week is play. Why is it important? Why your kids have to play, why you have to play, and why you have to play together with your kids, assuming you have kids. And so recently we took the kids out to West Coast Park to go and play at the playground because they have very little experience playing with sand. And sand, as you know, it's all the texture, gets everywhere, but they really like it because it actually helps them with their imagination. Unfortunately for us, we didn't bring any sand play stuff, so they actually had to ask other people if they could play with them, which isn't.
But yeah, on the topic of play for kids, right? So they always say, I remember reading somewhere that play is a foundation for the kids. Kids learn through play, and the word play has become such a bad 4-letter word in today's society. I remember growing up and saying, "Oh, don't play. Now you don't play. Work. Study. Don't play." And I'm like, dudes. Over time, I've taught children. I've taught children in one of my many past lives. One of the things I do is I'm an educator. I teach kids, and the best way to get them to understand a concept and get it to stick to them is if you can make it into a game, gamify it, make it into, well, play.
Yeah. So, and with the kids, they when you allow them to play with other children, it also helps them with their interaction. So if you see how kids react to each other at the playground, they are learning how to be less socially awkward. And you
You're
can
socializing them.
Yeah.
Not socialism.
Socializing. And it makes a lot of difference because it gives them the self-confidence to be able to talk to other people, to strangers, and ask for things like, they say, can I get on this the swing after you're done? Can I play with you? It's one of those things that we actually really see a lot because our kids, we let our kids have some playground time after we pick them up from school, and they climb with their friends, and they actually even make friends with the neighborhood kids who play at the playground, right?
So that's the thing. There is solo play, there is group play, there's sibling play, so many different settings that the kids can play. Our kids, well, we've got two. And seeing them play alone, seeing them play with each other, seeing them play with kids their own age, seeing them play with kids older or even younger than them in all the different settings has been very, very fascinating. I've come to realize that it's always natural to compare my kids to other kids, right? And I know some of my friends who have children and their kids are definitely different, not better or worse, just different. And so when I see how my kids interact with them, knowing that, say for example, my kids go to school, they go to childcare, they go to kindy, and they are a lot more socialized than some of my friends whose kids have not gone to playgroup and only just started kindy. And you see the massive difference. The kids who do go to school are more self-assured, more self-confident. They speak up more, they're more willing to share, they're more willing to ask. And the opposite is true for the kids who don't go to playgroup and are only just starting kindy. So it's a base of social aptitude, not ineptitude, social aptitude, right? That is important in building that up. And I think leaving kids to have free play. So you have the setting, and then you have the type of play. You have free play and you have structured play. So today we're going to be talking about, the settings as well as the type of play that, kids will get into. And so for those of you out there, free play is just the kids doing whatever they want to do by themselves. Structured play is, guided with an adult, a facilitator, an educator, and there are set rules, and boundaries what they can and cannot do. So yeah. I'm gonna keep eating.
Yeah. Okay, so the reason why I want to talk about play is because after seeing the kids at the playground, and you see all the different interactions between the kids and the adults, and then you see how different kids have different social aptitude. You can see those who are a bit more socially awkward, and I'm sure it carries on to adulthood because you would have adults with some social awkwardness.
Social disabilities. No, I mean, yeah. I'm fully aware that while we cannot shelter our kids as much as I want to, as much as I want to shelter my children, we can't. They will be exposed to playground bullies, they will be exposed to rude people. I mean, just the other day, they were exposed to, the same bunch of kids who had just learned a new curse word and they were all cursing each other. And obviously, they're exposed to that. I can't go over and cover my kids' ears, right? But on that note, there was one particular incident at that particular playground we like to frequent. There were a bunch of older kids who were maybe in their mid to late teens.
Yeah.
And, unsavory types. And I totally missed out this little bit, but I had to applaud the father, the dad of one of our kids who did it. He saw one of these teenage boys hiding in a corner under the playground, lighting a cigarette, trying to smoke, right? And he started smoking. I didn't notice it. And this chap, this awesome father, this dude just went across, had a few words with him, and basically chased that kid away, right? So that we have a safe environment for our young ones. And I think that has to be something that we as adults need to have the initiative and the guts to do so. I mean, I'm saying that as an Asian guy, and we Asians, we tend to be very, retiring, we're quiet, we're shy, we don't see it, just gotta pretend I didn't see it. And I want to shout out to all our parents who actually have the guts to do it, and if you don't, just remember, rally the other parents around you and you will be a force to be reckoned with, right? You don't have to be the superhero, but, at least we take action, we see something that's right and something that's wrong, and we call it out. Anyway, back to the kids in the social setting.
Yeah. So you see the kids, they play and they need to learn how to take turns because everybody wants to go on the swings. when there is a child on the swing, usually takes a long time for them to finish it. So we always have to remind our kids, you have to take turns. And they in turn remind their friends that they have to take turns too. So it's a cascade effect, right?
Yeah. So I mean, if you teach one, they start to teach each other. Hopefully. And I think one of the most important parts really is being able to give them the opportunity to participate in social settings. I mean, it's so easy for us, right? That pick up the kids direct from school, go straight home.
Yeah.
Come straight home. You're not allowed to play at the playground. You're gonna come home. You're gonna shower. You're gonna watch TV. You can color. You can color, do whatever. Just stay within the confines of the home where it's safe and sterile. But ultimately, I don't think that it's gonna be beneficial for them in the long run. Antibodies. There's a story there in a bit. Antibodies. And so being able to put the kids at the playground with their classmates, with their peers, and letting them run around and play and interact with each other, one is a fascinating look into how kids interact, and two, it's really just giving them the opportunity to learn and be kids.
Yep. So being at the playground means that you have to interact with other kids, right? Like for the children themselves. Recently, when we were at West Coast, I saw this mom actually telling this little child who is maybe about half the age of her son to tell her to get off the swing so that her son can get on. It has to come to a point where you need to let your kids fight their own battles. If they want to get on the swing, then let it be up to them to decide, to talk to the other kids on the swing, right?
Totes.
Yeah. And this child is not even like in kindy or anything. He looks like he is in like he's 10, and the child that she told to get off the swing was about 5 or under. So that's just totally not fair.
So yeah, that's parents abusing their power for the betterment of their own young.
It was really hard to see, and I felt like it was totally wrong for the mother to step in that way. For us, we would only step in if the child...
Mortal danger!
There is going to be some harm happening, mortal danger, risk to life and limb.
Yeah, but otherwise, I leave my kids be. I mean, it's free play, and the setting is in a public place, in a playground. Go ahead and do. If I see something's going wrong, then yeah, like for example, if my kids are being the bully and, they can be the bully, especially when they're strong-willed, I will step in. And when they are being bullied, I will actually wait and see how far it goes. If it becomes physical, like we have seen some of the other kids start to push my kids around, or even I have a fear of them of touching them inappropriately. Then I'll step in and I'm like, dude, stop. And that usually is enough. But here's the important thing: they get playtime, and it's also important to know when to step in and when not to step in. I mean, we've seen helicopter parents hover. Oh, no, baby boy, no, you can't do this, no. Why is that accent now? I don't know. Sorry.
So, at the playground, we are the kind of parents who actually sit at the side and just monitor, and just just watch and see what they do. As long as we keep an eye on them, it's fine with us. We've seen other people trying to bully our kids, and the initial reaction to step in is just like, ugh.
Have you ever had that? I mean, if you have children, I'm sure you've seen them, either being bullied or being the bully. What do you do? Let us know in the comments.
Or if when you were a kid and you were either the one who was being bullied or the bully, what happened? Like, what did you do?
Yeah.
Like, were there consequences? Please share with us, because I was not allowed to play at the playground as much as a child.
Yeah, neither was I.
So we spent a lot of time watching TV.
Yeah, and I got fat, really fat. I mean, on that note, physical activity is so important to our kids' development. It's been proven that physical activity not just improves their psychomotor skills, their coordination, it actually produces more HGH, human growth hormone, and that helps them grow bigger, stronger, faster, and we want that. It helps with their immune system. And most importantly, as a parent of 2 very young children, it helps tire them out for nap time.
Yes. Have you ever tried trying to get to really active kids to go down for a nap when they don't want to.
Yeah, and so the only way, someone once gave me advice. He was just like, oh, find an open field, let them just run until as much as they want, and then when they're done, bring them home, they'll sleep.
It works.
Sure, it totally does. And so yeah, I mean, so social settings, right? Social settings is very, very important. And whatever I just said earlier does definitely apply to siblings when they're playing at home. It's always very natural that the younger one, especially my boy, he's 3 right now, he's turning 3 in a few days, will annoy and irritate and piss off his older sister all the time. Because he has impulses he can't control. He sees a toy that Kaka has, he'll snatch it, or he just. But the thing is, he's a child. He's not a child. He's a toddler. He doesn't understand his actions just yet. So where do I step in and I be, the disciplinarian and say, no, Adam, you're a bad kitty cat. No. Or do I explain nicely, no, Adam, you're a bad kitty cat. See, notice no. Or do I let it resolve itself?
So it's about setting boundaries and letting them understand that what you're doing is unacceptable, and I'm going to put you here, your hands down, so that you understand this is not a good thing to do.
Naughty corner.
That one is pretty much controversial, but if you do a naughty corner versus not doing a naughty corner, please, let us know in the comments.
How do you discipline your kids? I have a few ways. I have denial of privileges. Like if you misbehave, and misbehave is such a broad term, right? If you misbehave, you get denied privileges, no dessert, no TV time, or in more severe cases, nope, you need to learn consequences, naughty corner, let them cry it out. Then when they're done, I come back and I talk to them, I debrief them what happened, why, what did you learn. Then after that, if it gets even worse than that, I have to physically reprimand them. I absolutely believe in spanking your kids. Spank your kids, not like constantly, but within reason. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I have a lot of feelings about that, but that's just...
Oh, you like being spanked?
No, I grew up being spanked a lot by my parents, and that was not fun. Not that kind of spank.
Yeah, wow.
Stop.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
So, part of free play also is about imagination. And so what do you do to let them be imaginative? Do you give them random toys? Do you make your own toys? We have a couple, friends who actually just give the cardboard boxes to their kids.
Cardboard rolls.
Yeah. And so they make their own toys. They make their own obstacle courses, or it's a house, or like our kids to be cats, and
and you know what? One of the most popular things with them to play with right now are just bloody paper airplanes. Like I get tons of junk mail, right? We get tons and tons of junk mail. Thanks to all of you property agents who've been sending junk mails and flyer. I don't know how that works for you guys, but thanks for all the building material. Thanks, really, really thanks. Keep sending more junk mail. And if somebody does go out and junk mail. Yeah, we'll get junk mail, and I'll make them, origami it. Make planes, which are super popular. The kids they throw. Make balls, make boxes.
Or like when we get delivery and we have lots of big carton boxes, that is really, really popular. So they pretend to be turtles,
snails, houses, snails,
cats.
Which is ironic because it's not like we don't buy them toys. They've got plenty.
We had to give away some because we had too many.
Yeah, we've got plenty of toys. And the thing is, ultimately, the imagination kicks in when they are forced to win. Like, okay, I've got nothing that I want to play with right now. I have an empty box. And then you start seeing it. And that, in my opinion, is such a critical part of free play, right? That they need to be able to be bored and figure stuff out for themselves. And have you seen kids play? I'm sure we've all seen some kids play. And it's fascinating to watch. But here's the thing. I would like to say to all parents out there, make sure you give your kids free playtime. I mean, at the end of the day, today I'm noticing a lot of screen time. Yeah. I have a friend, same couple who are, their hashtag is #end screen time meals. Is that it? Or
I
end
think
screen time or something?
I'll find out.
Yeah, I will put it up here. And so the whole thing that I find that is heartbreaking is that, okay, to quiet the kids down, here's a phone, here's an iPad, you know, and
Our kids don't get to play with our phones. They don't get to use the iPad. The only screen time they get is TV time.
yeah.
And even then, that
It's
is monitored.
supervised.
Yeah, supervised. So
Supervised.
they don't get to watch. They don't get
Yeah.
free YouTube.
They don't get access to YouTube and all that. We do let them watch certain shows on YouTube supervised. They get to watch cartoons, like, for example, you know, Avatar: Last Airbender. It's very good for kids, for us adults too. They get to watch. Did they watch Dora? Did they watch Blue's Clues and all that?
They watch Blue's Clues.
What was that one that had with the adults? You know, it was fun for the adults to watch. I know Sesame Street was one. You know, that's still very relevant.
Mochi
decades
and
ago.
waffles is the current favorite.
Yeah, current favorite. Mochi and waffles. My dad was a box of frozen waffles, and my mom was a Yeti.
Yeah, that was like what? Strange.
Check it out on the flicks. Mochi and waffles, and if you guys are watching, sponsor.
Waffles and mochi.
Waffles and mochi, yeah.
Yeah.
Waffles and mochi.
So it's very sad to see, like, when we go out as a family and you see the child on the iPad. Like, remember we were there at Swenson's at one time.
Oh my
And
god!
the child was actually eating, and on
On
the
the screen, so there was she had a little meal in front of her at Swenson's. She had a little meal in front of her and an iPad, and then her eyes just there, and she's eating.
and her mom was just staring at her, waiting for her to finish.
Yeah, the
And
mom's
they weren't even
looking,
talking.
weren't even talking. The mom was on the phone. The mom was looking at her, looking around, just waiting and waiting. And here's the sad part. She ate her fill. She pushed it away and said, "I'm done." The mother clears the plate. And she's still watching the iPad. Still, her eyes are still on the iPad. And I was like, "Holy crap! What is this? Is this what dinner times are like? Is this what family bonding time?" And the kid was not young, by the way. It was what, 8, 7?
Oh, she was definitely in middle primary school, 9, 10.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
she
that's
was
worse.
quite- yeah, she was not young, and it's my mom actually used to do that with the kids to the that we didn't approve. So I actually had to tell her, let's not turn on the YouTube on the phone. Just let them watch and eat.
Yeah.
Let's just engage them.
Let them be busy. Let them be bored. And I've always been a big proponent of when we're together, we eat together. And so dinner times, meal times, you know, we focus together. We all sit down, talk about our day, talk about the food. You know, sometimes it gets into fights. So I don't want to eat anymore. I don't like it. And I'm like, no, you're a naughty pussycat. You need to eat this. If not, you're not gonna grow big and strong. But it's a different topic entirely.
So we don't let them play games at all.
Yeah. Meal times and meal times.
We were quite surprised when Adam would actually take the iPad and turn on Netflix all by himself,
Yeah,
unsupervised.
he's
Like, what the
three.
hell?
He's
Like, you don't even get the iPad.
He's 3. Yeah, because I have an iPad and I use it, you know, for reading, a bit of work here and there. And I remember during circuit breaker, during the lockdown, and the kids were at home and we were working, right? I'd set up my own little home office, you know, turn on the AC, and the kids get TV time. So I put the iPad there, put on Netflix, right? And so they do get Netflix. And so at that time, you know, supervised. I was on my PC, she's on her PC. The kids are on the side on their little mat, and you know, like a little picnic thing, and they get to watch some. So I think that's where he understood that Netflix was there. But again, we make it a big point not to have digital devices for the kids.
Yeah. So they get to read books. Lots of books. They get to draw, they get to color, they get to play with Play-Doh, but screen time is one of those things that it's when they are with us, it's very supervised.
Yeah, no screen time. No unsupervised screen time. In fact, like we said earlier, the only screen time they get is TV, and even then, that is heavily supervised.
Yeah. So play.
Yeah, go back to play. Going back to play, it's, in my opinion, one of the most, if not the most important part of a child's, development, right? I mean, yeah, food can only go so far. Sleep is definitely important, but play. Kids learn by playing, and there is physical play. There is, arts and craft. There is so many, forms of play. Like, for example, we can make up games at home. That's more like structured play. Like, they've got a ball pit, they've got bowling, those plastic bowling pins and all. And so we make it a game, and that becomes structured play. Now, the importance of structured play is clear. to work within certain boundaries, to work within certain rules, to understand how to play with others, to understand how something works rather than, going free for all. Now, both are equally important, free play and structured play. Now, what do you do at home? Let us know in the comments, what are some ideas that you have for structured play, especially considering, you have kids of all ages.
So when it comes to choosing toys, when I buy toys, I always make a point to make sure that it's something that can grow with them, and it's not something that they can will just use it for a couple of months and then they don't play with it. So a lot of the stuff that we buy or we get from relatives are usually about puzzles. Puzzles is a really good thing. We have those shape stacker things. Rainbows, so basically blocks.
Lots of blocks.
So that is actually a really good free play that they can use their imagination and play however they want. Even picnic set, like the one year that we actually got a picnic set for
Tupperware some more.
Tupperware, and there was another one with the shapes. So she actually learns about colors and shapes, and they actually have pretend picnics with their stuffed toys, and both the kakak and the adik will play together.
Totes.
And it's a thing. It helps bonding between the siblings, because they need to learn how to play with each other, and they need to learn how to play separately. Because right now, our son, the 3-year-old, is not able to really play by himself. He likes to have, no, mommy, come play with me, daddy, come play with me. He just wants to be, have attention.
He's 3. He's 3. This phase will he'll grow out of this phase too soon. I remember with Arya doing that. Mommy, play with you, play me, daddy, play me, and now at 5, she's like,
I want to draw.
I don't want. She's very independent, very strong-willed, and so enjoy what time we have with the kids. I mean, our time on this earth is limited, and the time with the kids is even more limited, right? So ultimately, I hope by today's video, one thing you would take away is the importance of play in all its forms, in the different settings that they are in, from solo to siblings to public to huge events, to free play to structured play to imagination, through games and all. It is really, really important. Let us know what you think about play in the comments. Let us know below.
Yeah. So do you want to touch on video games, or you want to
video games. So the kids don't get video games at all.
We have a Wii.
We have a Wii.
But we have not set that up.
A Wii from like 10 years ago. More, 12 years ago.
Yeah, that's really okay.
A Wii, and it still works because it's physical and now moving around. So the last time we did it was almost a year ago, 6 months, a year ago, I can't remember, but the kids were still too young to understand it. So I don't know yet at which age to introduce video games to them. Might try again in the near future, and we'll update you guys how that works. But for me, I don't think I'll be exposing my kids to video games anytime soon.
Yeah, since they're only 3 and 6, and it's not like
5 and a half. Not even 5 and a half.
Not even, yeah. So they're only 3 and 5, so their coordination isn't that great, and they don't know how to share yet. So maybe another 6 months or so, we'll see.
Who knows? Yeah. Who knows? We shall see. And so on that note, if you know of anything or any advice that you want to give us, any tips, ideas, tricks that you want to share, let us know in the comments below. As always, do hit the like button, hit subscribe, and share this video as much as you can. And this is how we end with a clap.
And
two-hand. And
clap.